I swear these guys will climb on anything they possibly can to roost. Including my truck. Stay off my truck. Don't yell at me. We're not going to have this discussion again. Stay off the truck. Good morning. Oh, it's a gorgeous day today. It's been raining like the last 3 or 4 days. Haven't really been able to get outside and do anything, which is okay because it appears that last Sunday while I was fishing in the river and stumbling over rocks and trying to muck myself out of some situations that I got into, that somehow I twisted my knee, and it's been killing me all week. Last couple of days it's been feeling much better. So I figured it's time to get this stupid project done that I've been pretty much milking the whole summer because of everything else that I was trying to do and wanting to do, and because I wanted to make sure that I had enough cash to do it all. Lumber prices were ridiculous to begin with. 2x4s, to give you an example, when I started this project and bought the original 2x4s, were over 10 bucks a piece for an 8-foot 2x4. A couple of weeks ago I bought some more. They were $5.70, and now the 2x4s are around the $4.50, $4.25 range up here in Alaska. So the price has dropped drastically. But I've got pretty much all the lumber that I need. I want to go over a few things with you before I get started here, because I've spoke about it before. There's issues that continue to plague me because of one stupid mistake. And thinking back on it now, I'm going to leave that stupid mistake in there to always remind me not to make stupid mistakes. This 4x4 is twisted. And it's not twisted a lot, but it's twisted just enough to kind of make everything that I do on this end a nightmare to work. And I want to give you an example. This is what my rafter for this side looks like on a rough cut. I need to adjust it more, but if you see, the 2x4, to keep it lined up with the rest of everything here, is actually in a little bit on this 4x4 because it's twisted. If I were to twist this back the rest of the way, it would be squared up, so I'm out by about a ½ an inch right here. To give you an example of the difference, let me pull this down. And I don't know how well you can see it. I'll try and zoom in on it here for you. Matter of fact, let me zoom in on the camera real quick before I do this. I'll put this one back up there and show you the difference between the two. Okay, I'll put this one back up there so you can see what I was talking about. So using a technique to measure this out on the end, the first try didn't work, as you can tell by the gap up here. This is just a scrap piece of 2x4 that I'm actually going to use for bracing in here where I access the nesting boxes. But you can see how far off this one is compared to, use a stick to point it out. See that one right there? Much better. Much better. So that one is going to be the pattern. This board is going to be the pattern for 1, 2, 3, 4 of the 2x4s that I'm going to use for the rafter. And then I'm going to cut another template for this one right here. And I've got another piece of scrap 2x4 over here that I can use to get this template. The actual length of the roof itself, this is what's called a Skillion roof, so it's a single slant roof, is going to be 8 feet, and this is an 8-foot stick. So to give you an idea, let's see if I can get this to lay here without sliding off. That's about what I figured it would be. It's going to hang about a foot off on this side, and this is where it's going to shed the snow, and it's going to be hanging off a few feet over on this side, coming out all the way to here, which will protect me from a lot of the snow in here when I come in to collect the eggs. And then I'm going to have a little gate over here as well that's going to let me into the chicken pen, the chicken run area, and that'll give me easy access in and out of there. The plan is still to have the gate, the door for the back of the coop here, a hinge door that'll open up both sides at once. And I'm going to put the nesting boxes on the inside of the coop, but I've decided I'm not really going to secure those nesting boxes. I'm not going to build them in place and lock them in. I want to be able to remove them when it comes time to clean out the inside of here. So I'm going to make it so that they're movable. And then possibly down the road, I may extend this out to the side. The reason why I'm building the nesting boxes on the inside again is because I'm going to put some foam underneath the floorboard here as an insulator, so that I don't want the nesting boxes to be super cold during the winter. And if they're hanging out over the edge, I just think that it's going to be too much out of the general area where the mass heat's going to be. So everything I've read says that for every 2 to 4 chickens, you need 1 nesting box. I have 10 chickens, so I'm going to probably go with 3 or 4 nesting boxes. And we might just build a couple of stackable ones. And for the Rhode Island Reds, they need to be 18 by 18, but that'll be down the road. Today's project is to get the roof rafters in place on the whole thing, and to get the board and batten around the entire structure. So I'll get the board and batten around both sides and the front, as well as build the access door to the front, so that'll be where the chickens will come in and out of the coop. And then maybe if I have time today, I probably won't, but tomorrow I'll probably have time to start working on the hinged door that's going to go here. And that will be the last time that I have to fight this 4x4, I think. I can make this work with the hinges. I can just groove into this 4x4 so that it's a little bit smoother, and then hide those hinges behind a little bit of board and batten trim on the side. What are you over here to see? You over here to see me working on your coop? Hello! You bite my finger? Are you biting the hand that feeds you? Pretty girl. So I might as well get this project started. I guess there's no way to begin but in the beginning. And for those of you that are curious, when I'm done with the final stage of the coop and everything's 100% complete, we'll do a walkthrough of everything on the coop. And that means once I get the nesting boxes in there and the chickens are living there and all that, I'll do a walkthrough of the whole coop, and then I will do basically a time-lapse video of start to finish building this chicken coop, so that it's all in one video. That's it. I'm going to sit here and enjoy my glass of tea while I think, and get some ideas for how I'm going to start measuring this thing out. What? Here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Where are you going? There we go. Relax. It's okay. You don't have to get so worked out. Easy. Relax. Get your cackle. Get the cackle. You're okay. What? What? It's okay. Come on. Calm down. It's okay, girl. It's okay, girl. Oh. did that, I lowered that so that I would end up, since these are going to be the other 4 roof rafters, so that every single one of them will be on the same plane when it's done, so I don't have any issues with waves in the roof when it's finished. And I just caught that at the last second. So yeah, I would suggest before you do anything like this, you kind of look at everything and think of every possible problem you can have. What do you say, Red? Huh? So to make this a little bit easier for me to do, I've nailed this, or screwed this where it basically needs to go so that I can cut it. So now I'm going to take my pen and I'm going to mark the back of this top cut here. And then I'm going to mark the back of this top cut here. And then I'm going to get a little bit creative here. I need to eliminate that material, and then I need to be up here. So I need to eliminate a little bit of material down here on the bottom. And it's just to notch it to about here. Oh, hello ladies. I think they like their coop already. What do you think? I'll go ahead and I'll take this off and I'll show you where I notched it and how I notched it, and then we'll make the cut and I'll show you again when I get it all put back up. All right. See what we got there. So like I said, I had to cut this little notch out down here just so that it would drop down and be flush here. And then we're pretty much flush up here. But I'll tell you what, when I get ready to build a house, my measurements are going to have to be a whole lot better than they are right now. And I think I can live with that. All right, I know that pattern's correct, so I'm going to cut 4 of those right now to get those other 4 done before I cut this one, because I can measure each and every one of those identically to get the tail hanging that I need over the back end. And if I worry about just the tail over the back end hanging, the front end will be automatically correct on every one of them. So I'm going to get that cut now. So what I've done here is measured out my stick, which is the 8-foot stick, to get the 1-foot overhang, like this, on the roof. So if I line up that stick right on this cut here, where I mark that line, this rafter will go all the way to here, and then I could mark this line on all these other 2x4s, and then just lay this on top of the other 2x4s, mark out the pattern, and cut every single one so that they're the exact same size when they're done. And I'll use the same pattern stick on everything. So the only thing I have to worry about is lining up here, and everything else should line up when it's done. You just have to look and remember how I had this. So basically, that is my roof, that is my mark on the end here. And if I want that to be the top, I should be able to mark off right here. And that should be the pattern all the way for all of these. Now, like I said before, I've never alluded to the fact that I'm a carpenter in any way, shape, or form. So I'm sure any of you guys that have built for a living, or gals that have built for a living, you probably know a better way to get this done. Feel free to reach out and tell me. I mean, this project will already be done, but I'm going to be doing this again on a house. So if there's an easier way to do it, Lord knows I want it. Now, like I said, that will be the inside. Of that cut. We'll have to reach right to that corner. So I'm going to grab my speed square, square all these off right now, lay this pattern on here, mark them off, and I'll show them to you again in a minute. Got my line, and before I make my cut, I'm going to bring that up right to the edge here. So my line is lined up right here. Before I make the cut on here, I want to make sure I'm not going to end like I am right there on a knot. So we're probably going to turn this board around right now. Let's check the rest of them first. I don't feel like trying to carve my way through a knot with that handsaw. That one's good. Go ahead and mark that one off. Matter of fact, I'm going to cut this one before I go through and do every other one. Set it up there to fit and make sure that this is correct. So let's go ahead, continue that line out. Over there. So that'll give you an actual representation of what I'm looking at for, get my head down here so you can see me, representation of what I'm looking at for the roofing. So this is going to be the size of the rafter. It's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 on top of the risers here on the wall to distribute the weight, give it a little bit more support when the snow falls. We do get up to 2 and 3 feet of snow on the ground pretty much all winter long, and I showed you some pictures of that in previous videos. But with the angle of this roof, this is a 612, I think it's 612 is what they call it? Yeah, 612 pitch. So that means that for every 6 inches across it goes up, or every 12 inches across it goes up 6 inches. So I should have plenty of room here to shed the snow off the back. The restroom doesn't have that much of a pitch on it, and we've had some issues with that, but this is pretty much equal to the snow that was on top of the generator, and the only reason why it didn't shed is because it ran out of room for the snow to be able to shed off of it. But yeah, so that's what we're looking at, and I'm pretty darn happy with how it looks. All right, I'm going to cut the other 3 right now. I'm going to take this one down and make this the pattern because then that way they'll all be equal to the one that I just cut. I came so close to swinging out with that one. To use any more than I have to. So I'm just taking the saw now and removing that material that the round blade did not remove. And then I end up with a solid chunk out of there. But you can see, I'm going to pull this up here so you can see it. See right here? That's where the blade did not remove. That's the curve of the blade. So none of this area was cut through here. So I finished it off with the saw on here and on here to get everything cleaned up. Get tired of ducking under this. let's see if we've got this now. Boom. I think we got it level. What do you think? One issue I have down here on the end is the post I had put in for the original fence. In the video, why is there still ice in the ground? I'm going to cut the top of that off, and I might build a small like lean-to using those two, that post and the other post that's in the ground, to give the chickens a spot to come out where it won't be covered in snow. But the fence is not actually going to go there anymore. It's going to be a little bit bigger run than originally designed. Nice. That'll work. That'll do, pig. That'll do. Thanks again, John. This thing's going to get a workout in a couple of weeks. These are called hurricane ties, and while we don't have hurricanes in Alaska, we do get hurricane force winds all the time. But the main reason why you use these is so that the wind, when you've got a big piece of roofing and that wind kicks up, it's going to want to rip your roof off the top of your building. So I'm going to put hurricane ties on here because I'm going to put hurricane ties on the cabin. So I figured, what the heck, these cost like $1.25 a piece, just a little bit safe. Since you can't use this on the end piece, you saw me using these, and these just basically wrap around and nail in. They're kind of interesting to figure out which way goes which, but yeah, it's basically the same design, the same idea. So I'm putting a hurricane tie on each side of this, on the center rafters, and then I'm putting these on each side of the end rafters, and then that way I know that the entire roof is secure and it's not going anywhere. So this will give you an idea of what the overhang's actually going to look like with me standing underneath it. It's not going to keep all of the snow out, but it'll make it much easier to keep the snow clear along this side while I'm coming out with the nesting boxes here and collecting eggs. That's the plan, if the chickens ever lay eggs. Because if they don't lay eggs, they're fried chicken. It's that simple. I got chickens for eggs. So the roof is on, it is complete. Next project I got to do is put, I need to put a support board here about 20 inches high. Something to nail into so that I'm nailing under the top and nailing into the bottom, because below that support board here is going to be the drop down for where I open it up to get the eggs and well, just the egg part. The nesting boxes I'll move in and out through the main door here. So I got to install that right now, and then I can start putting the siding on. guys all of a sudden pay attention to me, right? Because I'm eating lunch, I'm having a sandwich, you start jumping on my lap. You do all that stuff when nobody's looking. Right? Right? Wow, right? Go that way. It's about as close as I think I can get it with a hand cut to how the other one is laying. And we're right there. And like I said, this one is what the other 4 are going to be. So as long as I cut all the other 4 to the same pattern, they should all be true to each other. And now those ones will be true to this one as well. So I've got a nice flat even roof when I'm done, I think. Let's see. Should give you a better visualization of the overhang that I'm going to have here. And I'll turn the other camera on so you can see me stand underneath it and see how much I have. But hurricane ties are in. All the way on that side. All the way on that side. Up there. Down there. Some of these ones on the end are just a bugger to get in. Now I can... Now that I've got the roof on, we'll discuss that in a second.